right. Welcome to the Go for Two podcast, episode number 7. I am your host, Jackson Wallace. I got my friend Lucas here with me. Lucas, how you doing, bud?
Fantastic. I'm actually surprised you got the episode number 7 thing correct because you didn't even ask me before we
I
started
know.
this.
I have it in my brain. Okay, I have it in my brain. All right. I have it in my brain. And here's the thing, because this has become such a passion of mine, and I enjoy it so much. Because you and me, we're sharing articles all the time to each other throughout the week. We're sending Instagram DMs to each other about potential topics. And when it gets time to Tuesday, when it gets time to record, a smile just comes across my face.
I'm glad something makes you happy, Jackson.
Something making me happy. You know what else is making me happy? We'll talk about that a little bit later. But how about them Cowboys, Lucas?
I
Come on,
mean, they
baby.
looking good. Looking
Yeah,
real good.
we'll talk about them later on in the podcast, man. But I just had to throw that little how about them Cowboys out there real quick.
Yeah.
We'll talk about your team later too.
I don't want to talk about my team.
Okay. All right, Lucas. What's the big news of the week so far, bud?
So first up, to me, I think the biggest thing is, I mean, you got Big Ben and Drew Brees are both hurt. All right, you got Big Ben is gone from the Steelers, who
Mm-hmm.
already weren't playing that great, and now he's out for the year with he's had to get elbow surgery. And
Yeah.
then Drew Brees, he's out like 6 to 8 weeks because of
Yeah.
his thumb.
He was getting a second opinion today, but yeah, they said 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. Well, anyways, he's gonna miss the first half of the year at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to talk about. I think we know how that's gonna affect the Steelers. Like, I think they're, in my opinion, they're kind of out of the playoff contention now.
Season's over. Season's
Um,
over.
but Drew Brees can come back halfway. They can salvage some stuff. So, like, I think we need to talk about the Saints some. So I want to know what you think about
For sure.
how the Saints are looking. You know who their backup quarterbacks are. So let's
Mm-hmm.
just you go in on that there, buddy.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, first let's start off with the Saints, and let me preface this. We have a fantasy league, and we've had a fantasy league within our own family, immediate family, for the past almost 10 years, right? Since I was in high school, probably like 8 to 10 years. I'd like to point out that Big Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees are my two quarterbacks that I had in, and I lost both of them on the same day. Can I get some tears, please? A little a rip, something. Oh my gosh. Okay. With that being said,
I have Drew Brees in a league too.
do you really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my second quarterback, but it's a two
I'm
QB
keeping him.
league. So
Yeah, I'm keeping him. It's a two QB league for us too. I'm keeping him on the bench, just in case when he does come back, how he does. So I think he's working the roster spot. I just know somebody's going to snatch him up if I throw him out there. So
right.
anyway, let's start with the Saints, shall we? Okay, so
Okay.
their backup quarterback is probably the most recognizable of the two, Teddy Bridgewater. Uh, I think he has the potential to be very successful. The Saints had this in mind when getting Teddy, that Drew Brees could be getting to the end of his career within the next 2 to 3 years. I think is when they think that window is that time frame exists. So I think they picked Teddy for a reason. Number one, to succeed Brees later, or to at least test out the waters of him succeeding him later.
Right.
Number two, in case something like this happens, in case the worst happens and the New Orleans offense is not what it was. I think Teddy has a higher chance of success, potential success, than the Steelers do. I think he just has more weapons. I think he has more to work with. He's got Alvin Kamara, right? Top 3 running back in the league right now. Top 5, arguably top 3. Okay. Then you have Michael Thomas, the new highest paid wide receiver in the league. Actually, no, I think that's Julio Jones now. Right?
You're asking the wrong person,
That's the wrong
Jackson.
person. Anyway, a top 2 highest paid wide receiver in the league, and he deserves it. He's a rare talent. Um, Jerry Cook, okay, their new tight end, who is very versatile over the field and also with impact blocking. I think their defense is right up there with Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's younger and faster. I think New Orleans is a little more experienced, but I like New Orleans coach a lot more. So I think Obviously, Drew Brees going out for 6 to 8 weeks, that hurts your season, but it doesn't completely derail it. It is not over for New Orleans to make the playoffs. I think they can still. I think they still have a chance. I think Teddy can win them 2 or 3 games. I think if they go 500 without Drew Brees and Brees comes back stronger, better than ever, because he was looking kind of funny in that game against Los Angeles. So maybe this will kind of give him some time to rest and recuperate a little bit. We'll see. Brees is the man. Okay, Brees is like he's GOAT status. Okay, like we got Brady. Okay, and like we look to second in the league right now. I got Brees and I got Rodgers. Okay, in terms of pure. Actually, no, I have Brady, Brees, Mahomes, and Rodgers.
There you go. I like that better.
Yeah, I got to put Mahomes in there. Mr. Mahomes magic.
You got to. He's been doing good, man. He's
going off the script here for a second. Okay, did you see his second quarter this past week?
Four touchdowns.
4 touchdowns and 278 passing yards.
That was all their points for the whole game. They won like 28-10, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's all they needed. They need a second quarter from Patrick, from Mahomes, and then they're done. They don't need to do anything else.
Yeah, well, you should have seen the stat line he put up in fantasy against me. 66 points of pure misery. All right?
Oh, that's rough. That is rough. 66 points?
Yeah, it was bad.
Jesus. Yeah, but I like the Saints' chances a lot more. I don't think their season's over. What do you think about New Orleans?
Pretty much agree with what you got going on. Like the Steelers definitely are. I think they're out of playoff contention, like I said before, and I think the Saints, they pull off a couple things here and there, still make the playoffs. I believe that the team as a whole is good, and I also believe that both of their backup quarterbacks are good. They got Bridgewater, and then they also have Hill, who just does it all. Like, this man is out here.
Mm-hmm.
He's a quarterback, but they're running him like a halfback. They got him returning kicks and punts. He's he's doing, he's doing everything. So,
and
I definitely like it.
I think is not very tough. I think you have Atlanta, right? That seems to be your only competition, right? Tampa Bay is not going to win more than 5 games this year. Carolina seems to be a shell of itself, at least from what it was, and we'll talk more about them later, especially with Cam Newton. But you got Atlanta to compete against. You could definitely win a couple division games without Drew Brees.
That's it. So I think I'm not worried about the Saints. I'm worried about the fact that I was hoping Drew Brees would come in and have an MVP year or something. That's definitely not going to happen now. But they got this. Sean Payton's an excellent coach, so they got this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think if they go 500 while he's gone, that definitely puts them in a spot to make a playoff run late. So, especially with their running game as diverse as it is with Kamara and now Latavius Murray kind of emerging a little bit into his own, I think they can make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Post Thanksgiving. So we'll have to wait and see. Definitely, it's talking about the quarterbacks overall in the league this year. Think about it. You have Luck retired. Breeze is hurt. Big Ben's out for the season, right? Cam Newton's nursing a big foot injury at the moment. Sam Darnold has mono. Okay, the Washington quarterback core, they're all in hospital beds. Okay, you talk about Alex Smith, right? Just complete. He's off the rails for this year. There's nothing we can do about that. It's sad to see when so much talent isn't being able to be seen on the screen. That makes sense.
There's a lot of quarterbacks hurt this year. So is there more? Mm-hmm. Is Case Keenum hurt with the Redskins too?
No, he's not. I was just
okay. So
I saw a thing on Facebook earlier today, and it was like SpongeBob, and it had different memes for every team based on their quarterback status, and it said the Washington Redskins quarterbacks, and it had every single person in hospital beds. I thought that was pretty funny. So.
Okay, I got you. I was like, I didn't hear about that. I didn't know that was going on.
No, he's not. But
anyways,
Keenum as quarterback.
I mean,
kinda
threw for 300 yards on you, didn't he? Close.
Got the dub.
I mean, yeah, you did.
Our defense let off the gas in the fourth quarter.
We got all that. We got both of those things coming up later. Anyway,
there's a lot of quarterbacks hurt.
Yeah. Anyways, it's time to move on, Jackson. Okay. because we're talking about quarterbacks, and we got to talk about Eli Manning, who
Yes.
I think does not deserve to be benched, but he has been benched for, oh, what's his name? I don't even know. I don't even know his name.
The guy
All
from
right,
Duke.
the guy from Duke, yeah, like Daniel Jones, right? So,
Mhm.
to me, it's been 2 games.
Mhm.
The team is bad, and I haven't really seen Eli Manning play bad. I haven't seen him play in a way that warrants him needing to be benched. So, like, the only thing I can hope of is that they think that Daniel Jones is going to go in there and run for 100 yards a game, because the only thing he can do that Manning can't do is run, and everything that he does as a quarterback, Manning does better, except for run, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's just
So,
at this point, it's throwing him in the fire and giving him experience for next season.
but
The
why do
Giants know
you?
that this season's chalked up. I agree with you. I don't think it should happen yet.
Well,
I
no,
think this
like
should have happened later.
my problem is why are you? If you're like, oh, I want him to get experience, we're gonna be bad anyways. Well, you're gonna get him experience underneath a line that is not good.
That's my point. Potentially,
This man's gonna get hurt. Exactly.
If this is what you believe to be your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, right? Because that's what the definition of a franchise quarterback is, right? 10 years plus.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're expecting from this guy that you drafted out of Duke with number 6 overall. Surprised everybody. Do you really want the risk of him getting hurt? It's kind of like I like more of the thought of let him learn from Eli for a year, right? Maybe throw him in the last 2 or 3 games, split halves with him, let him start the last 3 or 4. You know the season's over anyway. Get his feet wet, get him out there. You know, let him try and convert third downs, and then go into next year. You know, knowing that you have a healthy quarterback. But you're starting him week 3. It's like at this point, like why didn't you just start him?
Right, he might as well played week 1.
If you were just going to do this in week 3, you know, then why even do it? Why not just start from the beginning? It seems out of place to me. I don't understand what Pat Shermer's doing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. But you know, we'll see what happens. I want him to do good. Like I don't wish the dude like ill will or anything, but I just don't.
Yeah, they're in full rebuild mode. Full rebuild.
You know, they're gonna be rebuilding a quarterback at the end of the year after this dude's been sacked 30 times.
Him and Deshaun Watson both. Now, quick question, just kind of about Eli for his career. You know, a little tribute or whatever. 2-time Super Bowl champion. I think it's like a 4-time Pro Bowler. You know, his record was 116 and 116 overall as a New York Giant. Finished even, 500. Do you think he is a Hall of Famer?
I think he should be, just because who beat Brady?
Eli. Twice.
Exactly, including the perfect year he messed up. Eli Manning is the blemish on Tom Brady's perfect season.
Brady could have had 8 rings. He could have had 8 rings by now. Because they were supposed to be 19-0. They were supposed to be the first team to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up 18-1. They could not beat that Giants defense. Could not. For whatever reason, Eli was Brady's kryptonite. I think he belongs to the Hall of Fame.
I think if you look at his numbers, I think his numbers are good, and he's won 2 Super Bowls. Like I don't know how you can't put him up there.
Yeah, his numbers are great. 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, right? Played absolutely out of his mind. Started every game that he could have, right? Except last year when they ruined his starting record with Geno Smith, right? And now they're doing it again here with Daniel Jones. And, you know, he poised, franchise quarterback, true leader, even though he's been a Giant this entire time and a bane of my existence growing up as a Cowboys fan, he deserves to be in the Hall.
Agreed. So, to get into some more drama, all right, because that's all the NFL has been this all summer, all this year. It's kind of getting on my nerves, man. I'm tired of all these clowns. All right, there's all these clowns, and they're popping up all over the. It's disgusting. Okay.
Disgusting. It is
So
disgusting. You should see his face right now. By the way, be sure to watch us on YouTube. He was and looks currently disgusted.
so the latest clown to join the circus is Jalen Ramsey has officially requested a trade from the Jacksonville Jaguars. This
Hmm.
comes it happened yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday, the 16th. And so it happens the day after the game where him and his coach were both caught fighting, and like he was being held
Yeah,
back by players and
I
stuff,
saw
like
that.
getting all mad. And this comes after him wanting to be paid so much money and they didn't want to pay him. And
Hmm.
then the dude showed up and was like, if you're not paying me the big bucks, like you don't want me, all this stuff. He showed up in a Bing's truck, right?
Yeah,
And I'm just like, why
clown.
do you have to act like that? So, I want to know your thoughts on him requesting a trade, and also, if anyone here listens to the Bustin' with the Boys podcast, it is an excellent podcast hosted by Will Compton. He is currently not a player in the NFL. He played for the Titans last year, was on the Redskins before that for a long time,
Hmm.
and he had a chance to go play with the Saints during the preseason. He hurt his ankle, so they ended up cutting him. But he's an awesome dude. And then Taylor Lewan, the left tackle for the Tennessee Titans, is another guy. Both of them
The
hosted
boy.
the boys. They have all these awesome episodes with other NFL players.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, just like other NFL players, other people of notoriety, just everywhere in the United States. Honestly, they got all the hookups. The boys got all the hookups. All right. Um, there's
Bro,
Wolves.
and they'd record their podcast from a bus.
It's
From
busting
an
with the
actual
boys.
bus. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
awesome.
such a cool name.
For the Titans game this past Sunday against the Colts, they actually, because the bus isn't up and running yet, they're trying to get the bus up and running. So
Hmm.
they actually had it towed somewhere so they could do like a big tailgate deal.
Yeah.
And I think they're sponsored by Budweiser now. Because
Oh,
it's
that's
on the
awesome.
side of the bus that they found says like Budweiser and it's got number 8 on the end. So, awesome stuff. They're hilarious. There's wolves all over the place, man. I'm telling you, and it's an awesome podcast. Definitely go check it out. Anyways, if you listen to that earlier in the summer, there was an episode that Jalen Ramsey was on,
Hmm.
and he came to talk to them, and he said that his like if he had his perfect places to go be at and play football in the NFL, number one, he said Tennessee because he's from Tennessee, so he grew up a Titans fan. And then number two, he said Las Vegas, so that would be the Oakland Raiders who are going to be
Hmm.
moving. So I just want to know your thoughts on him requesting a trade and where you think he might end up, if you think he's going to get what he wants.
Sure, sure, sure. Number one, Jalen Ramsey in Vegas sounds like a terrible PR nightmare for the Raiders.
I want it. I want it to happen because I
It
just
just sounds it just sounds like what could be wrong with Vegas. Let's give all these 20-year-old guys in their prime millions of dollars and let them live in Vegas. What could go wrong? you
like
know
I don't think it's bad for like players to want their money and stuff. Like you want to be paid, I get that.
right.
Like you deserve to be paid. Like you are the cream of the crop. Like you are the best
Sure.
in the world. But you don't have to act like I feel like you're an NFL player and there's so many people that look up to you and you're always in
Hmm.
the spotlight and that can be hard to deal with and stuff, but you need to understand that like you are supposed to always represent yourself in the best, most professional way possible.
For sure, and that's the right attitude to
And
have.
like 95% of the league does, I feel like, or
Yeah,
like
I think so
90%,
too.
but it's just those certain people, that can't do it. And I feel like he's
The,
one of those guys that has trouble doing it. So I don't know about the Las
the
Vegas
clowns,
thing. Yeah.
the clowns. I would love to see him with Tennessee or with what I fear is that he ends up going to a team like Philly, right? I think he needs to go to an established culture where his antics aren't going to be able to get ahead of him in the locker room, right? If you go into a place like Philly or into a place like New England, I'm not saying that they're going to get him. I'm just saying if you go there, the locker room is established, the culture is established. You are going to buy into our system, and if you don't, there's a door, right? Like he needs to have that level of structure and that level of professionalism oozing out of the leaders already, right? Someone to be able to temper and direct his clownness in a positive direction, right? There's not many people in the league I think that can do that. Doug Peterson seems like a type of guy that can. I really don't want him to because I'd hate for him to be shutting down Amari Cooper every single week, and that's that. I don't need that right now. Okay, the NFC is already loaded. I don't need Jalen Ramsey in it. That being said, I love him to go to Oakland or Tennessee or one of those other teams that I don't have to worry about until February. That would be great.
I don't want him.
I know. As far as him requesting a trade, I think you're seeing this new kind of. I saw some stuff around this on ESPN today. They were saying, does the NBA and the power that lies within the players of the NBA in getting these 4-year deals with their option to opt out of teams and move wherever they want, their free agency power, is that having an influence on these NFL players and NFL superstars to be able to leverage themselves and their talent and their brand to go wherever they want? So that's a question I think that is warranting discussion. I think that potentially, maybe, that could be the case here. I do think that Jalen Ramsey, if as soon as you have a conversation with your coach on the sideline, out in public like that, it's over, right? The locker room, the respect level, it's broken. Okay, there's no really mending that. You can act nice for everybody else. You can act respectful in every other situation, but once you have that physical altercation on the sidelines, it's just time for both players to move on. I don't really see a problem with his trade. I do see a problem with his antics on the field and the way that he acts and conducts and carries himself, because he really does think that he is the best in the game right now. And I mean, he is an NFL superstar talent. He does seem to back it up on occasion. Okay. I think that he can help any team that he goes to. He is definitely a clown. I think he fits your description of a clown very accurately. Don't agree with his antics. If he wants to get out of Jacksonville, then I mean, Jacksonville's what they're asking at least a 1 for him, and I think they're asking a 1 and a 2 or a 1 and a 4 or something like that. But they want at least a 1 for him.
I don't think you get a 1 for him. Sorry to interrupt you, but like I just don't, with the way he acts and has acted since he came into the league. Like I don't think.
Don't want him in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get a 1 for him. That's just me.
See, I think they might be able to, because are you going to find a Jalen Ramsey in the draft this year in the first round? Probably not. So if you have one of those later round picks and the Jags bite on it, you essentially trade that first pick, like pick 28, pick 24, for a Jalen Ramsey. To me, as an NFL team, if I'm willing to accept and have a conversation with Jalen about his off the field and on the field issues, it might be worth it for a team trying to get over the hump. Like Baltimore, they really could use some secondary help. I don't know. But, I mean, me personally, I don't want him in the locker room either. And I understand you not want him in the locker room just because it causes disruption and it's a pain and it's a PR nightmare. But sometimes you have to weigh that against a window of opportunity for a championship run.
Well, I'm super, also the locker room, but we have Malcolm Butler, Adoree Jackson, and Logan Ryan who have, our secondary has 4 interceptions through the last 2 weeks. We lead the league in turnovers.
You'd definitely be the number 1 secondary if you had Jalen.
I don't think we need him though. I think we're good where we're at. I think we have enough with those 3, and then we have enough depth at the position. Like, would it be awesome? Yeah. Like, the only trade that I could see us doing with that is like I could see us trading Adoree Jackson for him, but I don't want to do that. I feel like Adoree has too much upside, and he doesn't have the attitude problem.
You think Oakland takes him? Because they lost their rookie star safety to injury this year.
No, I don't. I
Their
don't think he
secondary
gets
could
to.
definitely use some help.
I don't think he gets to go to either of the teams he wants to go to. That's just
Yeah,
me. Of those two, I don't think he gets to go to either one of those two. Um,
someone's
I
gonna
can
bite though.
I can see the Eagles. I can see the Chiefs. I can see
Yeah,
those two teams. I'm trying to think of teams that like
New England won't do it.
Rams maybe. Teams that like
Yeah,
want to win a Super Bowl right now. You know,
yeah.
and I
He did
think
say he wants to play for
I
a winner.
I mean I can see the Browns doing it. He'd fit in with that culture.
Oh yeah, he would right there with Odell. But
So
it is incredibly convenient to have a Jalen Ramsey to be able to say, "Hey, go shut down OBJ for me," or "Okay, hey, you on Antonio on AB, all right, take him out the game." And for the most part, he seems like he can do it.
he can cover anyone,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, but to move on, I know you got some thoughts on the Thursday night football game and Cam Newton's
Ooh,
performance in said game.
my man, I got that one wrong. We got that one wrong.
That was such an ugly
We
game.
both picked. Oh yeah, it was terrible.
I hated watching that game. So
Yeah,
tell me what you got on Mr. Cam, because I know
man,
this was a topic of your choosing.
it is. Cam Newton is 0-8 in his last 8 starts.
Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
He is 0-8 in his last 8 starts.
They started
He
off so
missed.
good last year too, man.
Yes, man, 6-2, and I guess he's still having issues with whatever injury that is. He alluded to it earlier on this year, saying, I think he said after this was it the first game, he said he's like no matter how my shoulder feels or no matter how my foot feels, like I still got to go out there and perform. Like that's on me, right? He was taking ownership, and that's good, but there was no injury report over his shoulder this summer. There's no injury report over his shoulder in the preseason, week one. Where did this shoulder issue come from? Like we knew he was battling issues with the foot. Now he's got some, and you could just tell watching that Thursday night game. He wasn't. It's like he was kind of antsy, and stepping into his throws, he was missing wide open throws. And Cam in 2015 did not miss those throws,
Or in 2017, or
or in
beginning of
2017, or any other
2018,
time.
right?
Yeah,
Like this has
Cam is
always
just.
been.
It seems like right now he is a shell of himself, and I think him being with Carolina 8 years, I think Carolina is ready to move on. Cam,
What?
I think Carolina is ready to move on. I think this is his year in Carolina. I think they're going to, especially with this issue right now. It seems like he's nursing a foot again. He's questionable for this next game. It's kind of up in the air. Seems like it's going to be a game time decision. But Cam's not right. He's not right now. And honestly, I would definitely take Dak over Cam. Full package.
I mean, I can't blame that, but they don't have Dak.
No, they don't. But I'm just saying, you draft him as your franchise quarterback. He's there for 8 years. He had one stellar season in 2015 where he won an MVP, played lights out, went 15-1, got to the Super Bowl, and ended up facing against Von Miller's defense. Okay? One great season in 8 years. And now it just looks like he's lost a step. It looks like he's having problems with his injuries. And in this league, if you don't have a quarterback that can be on the field week in and week out, you're at a severe disadvantage because it is very clear that the quarterback position is the most important position in all of football. Might be in all of sports. So I don't know, man. I feel like Cam is. I feel like he'll either be traded, or I'm not sure about his contract details currently, but I think Carolina will be ready to go into rebuild mode and look for themselves, or at the very least, draft a quarterback in the first or second round of this coming up draft.
I can see
looking
them.
to replace him.
I can see them maybe thinking about drafting a quarterback, but I think there's a couple things you need to think about. It
Okay,
is
lay it on me.
week 2. Week 2 of last year, people were like, man, the Panthers look good. You know, halfway through the year, people were like, the Panthers might, you know, they got a chance to make a deep run in the playoffs. And then, you know, like, things happen. All right,
Sure.
1 week, and something happens. The Cowboys looked terrible last year, and then all of a sudden it was click. They went on a streak.
Yeah.
And so Thursday night looked bad. They lost by 6 points against a team they shouldn't have lost against. But he still threw for 330 yards. But he had 51 passing attempts. Your quarterback does not need 51 passing attempts.
Okay. Here is where I am in my argument here. This point that I'm about to make is where I know that they no longer have full confidence in him. 4th and 1 to win the game. Okay? Towards the end of the game. They direct snap the ball to Christian McCaffrey on a end around toss. In 2015, and of course Christian McCaffrey does not get it, right? They had him running east and west where he should have been running north and south. I could get the direct snap to McCaffrey running north and south. I think he can get that. In 2015, 2017, they'd snap that to Cam. They have a lead blocker in there, and he's going to go get you that yard, right? But it seems that the Carolina coaching staff in that situation does not trust Cam enough with the game on the line to get them a yard.
See, I think it's more, we need to protect Cam. I don't think it's, oh, I don't trust our franchise guy, who, by the way, threw for 4,000 yards his first year in the league. You know, yeah, only had 1 good year. What? Yeah, that's what. Ain't that what you just said? He's had one good year.
Substantially good
this
year.
man has thrown for over 3,000 yards every single year. He's been 12-4, 15-1, and 11-5. Those are his top 3 seasons. Okay, all the other ones he had
below average in this year's league.
Do what?
3,000 yards is below average.
I said above 3,000, and also still, like. He has Christian McCaffrey. Like, they got one of the best halfbacks in the league. Like, he shouldn't have to throw it all the time. And tell me a wide receiver option this man has had his whole career that's a dominant force. Non-existent.
Steve Smith. DJ Moore's nothing to shake a stick at the moment. He's had Kelvin Benjamin.
Where's Kelvin Benjamin at right now, Jackson?
Olsen, who seems to be a shell of himself currently.
Well, he had one good year, which was 2015. And then after that, he's been hurt every year.
Yeah, exactly. But he's had weapons too.
Like who? Like okay, he had Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen had one good year. The Steve Smith thing, that's cool. They're gonna double team him every play. He's gonna make stuff happen.
He's a wide receiver.
I know, but he wasn't like it. Wasn't like
your definition of a weapon.
I'm talking about. He's had one good guy. Jackson, is that what you're telling me? This man's been in the league since 2011. Greg Olsen for 1 year. He's been hurt every year, bro.
Last year he was.
No, he was not. No, he was not. That man was bad last year because he was hurt. DJ Moore is not good.
What was his name in Madden 17? Oh my gosh, you could not.
Funches.
He was Funches, bro. Funches. Okay, Madden glitch.
No. He made Funches and Benjamin in 2015, that year that you love talking about so much. He made them that year.
That was his best year. They would have given him the ball 4th and 1.
I mean, he threw for 3,800. He threw for more yards his first year. Like how can you? That was his team's best year.
He needs to hang up the cape.
But he doesn't have to be super Cam. He's not super Cam because they're not giving the ball to him on 4th and 1 to run right up the middle and get just smeared.
No, but you expect him to make a 10-yard out pass. You expect him to throw and complete a simple slant pattern. I expect him to have a bad game also. And it's the second week.
And when do you expect people to have
He's
bad games?
0-8 in the last 8 starts. He's
His
had
team
8
is
straight
bad, bro.
games.
Has he himself been bad in all 8 of those games?
He hasn't won a single one of them.
That doesn't mean that he himself is bad.
He is a common denominator. He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. When you win 8 over 8 weeks, that means that something's wrong.
Okay. Who do you think has played better since last year? Cam Newton or Eli Manning?
Ooh. Since last year? Well, I mean, they've both been kind of equally awful. But I mean, I guess you have to give it to Carolina because of the 6-2 start.
Okay.
Right?
So that quarterback, Cam Newton, okay, who you think his team should just move on from. No, I'm talking. All right? So that guy, all
I
right?
think that holds true.
But you just made the argument like 20 minutes ago that Eli shouldn't have been benched. So they should move on from Cam, but Eli shouldn't be benched.
Well, first of all, Eli's a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. And he wasn't missing simple slant patterns at 10-yard outs.
What year did Eli win the Super Bowl last?
Let's see, he won in 2007, and then he won in 2010?
That was 9 years ago, Jackson. Right? That was 9 years ago, bro.
It was 9 years ago, right? And it's been 4 years since I've seen a decent Cam Newton.
No, it is not.
It's been 4 years since I've seen Super Cam.
Super Cam was 1 year, and that was an MVP performance, and that does not happen all the time.
Right, which is why I think Carolina's going to be able to get a first and maybe a third for a trade. Somebody's going to want Cam Newton. You see all these quarterbacks that are hurt this year?
Do you know how hard it is to get a quarterback in the NFL, Jackson?
I do know how hard it is to get a quarterback in the NFL, which is why someone's going to bite on him. But
so why would they get rid of Cam Newton?
He needs a change of scenery. He's not there anymore. He's not.
So now he's bad because he's in Carolina?
He's not like, feeling...
living here makes me bad. I need to move somewhere.
Wrong. If it's not him himself, then what is it? The offensive coordinator? Is it the personnel that they have? I don't think so. I think it's just Cam.
I think week 1, Cam Newton went 25 for 38 with a 65% completion percentage for 240, and I think that's okay. All right? It's not good. It's not bad. I think that's okay, and I think you don't move on from that. Last week, he had to drop back 51 times, and every single play, the defensive ends are pinning the air back, and they're coming right at him, and I just think it's okay to have a bad week. I think the coaching's kind of to blame for that. If you're going to drop back 51 times, like, there's a problem. You got Christian McCaffrey.
Honestly, that's a problem if you drop back 51 times.
Also, we know how good their halfback is. Like, what's wrong with running him sideways? They're going to run him sideways because he's small. All right? Like, this ain't the bus sitting back there. Like, McCaffrey's kind of small.
Yeah, but on 4th and 1?
I mean, I think it's better to run up the middle.
On a direct snap?
But you don't know, like, they're thinking, like, maybe we do this, maybe we, like...
You don't trust Cam and his big, like, beefy body to get you a yard?
They're scared he's going to get hurt. He's got injury issues. Like, that's understandable.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I hope he comes back from those injuries, and I hope he proves me wrong. But right now, with Cam not looking like Cam or even half of what Cam used to be, I think there is potential that they move on from him and they try and get what they can and they look for talent in this next year's draft.
Okay, well, we're going to move on. All I got to say is that there's potential for me to win the lottery tomorrow, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So since we are on Thursday Night Football,
yeah,
we need to talk a little bit about what do we think about Thursday Night Football, Jackson? Like what do we?
This was your topic. You really want to talk about too.
Because I think this is a problem. It's just like football's a war, right? Like I believe I've said this on here before. It was the line. Oh man, it was the linebacker from Green Bay, Clay Matthews. Couldn't think of his name. He's not there anymore. So he said that a football game was like strapping up in full pads and everything, going into your garage, shutting the door, standing on the opposite wall, running and hitting your head against it as hard as you could, and then do that for an hour.
Yeah.
And he's like, and that's what you'll feel like. That's what it feels like after a football game.
Yeah.
So
These are elite athletes, man.
and so it takes all week for these people to really recover. Plus, you got to count in practice time and stuff like that. If you play a game on Sunday and then you play on Thursday, it significantly reduces your preparation and also your body recovery. And so I think we got to talk about it. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I mean, kind of like the last topic. This one was yours. You go for it, but I think you hit the nail on the head. You have less. You have travel time you have to account in. You try and get in some practice time. Obviously, you want the guys to be able to have a day to heal up after hitting their garage door for 2.5 hours straight. So
Yeah.
Take it away, my friend.
So that's my number one issue with it is just like the lack of recuperation time that the players really get. I think that extra time, like if you get Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, like that's 3 more days. I think that really does help a whole lot more before the game comes Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that really stuck out at me that I didn't realize until I started actually looking at this stuff, getting ready for this podcast yesterday, is that home teams have a crazy advantage, Jackson. Like it is ridiculous. Like if you think about it, they get a full extra day of preparation and relaxation, whatever. And so since 2010, teams are like the home team is literally 70-41.
Wow.
All right, so that's almost double.
Yeah.
And they're 11-4 since 2018. Like that is ridiculous to me. Like that blows my mind that we can allow this to be a thing when the only reason the Panthers didn't win the other night is because they dropped back and threw the ball with a Cam Newton who was on a bad night. Like he definitely, it wasn't a good night for him. It was a bad night.
Right.
And they lost because of it. Like they had no run game. McCaffrey had like 40 yards. Like the Panthers are not a team that wins without running the football. That's proven, especially when McCaffrey is the guy back there doing it.
Yeah.
And so, to me, that shouldn't have happened. The Panthers should have won. But in most cases, like I just said, 11-4 is the home record since 2018. And so I just think that something has to change about that. Like you got to let them. I don't know. If you're playing Thursday night football, it needs to be after a bye week or something. That's the only thing I can think of for you to still have Thursday night football and not completely get rid of it is that you got to do it after bye weeks. Like it has to be planned like that because it is just it's a crazy advantage. Yeah, and it's just harmful to everyone.
Absolutely, because you think about the guys like you're playing Sunday night. Okay, say you have a Sunday or a Sunday night game. Immediately you have to get back to the hotel. You got to travel that night to wherever it is that you're going to go to. Okay, you have a day or so of practice, and then you got to try and rest, recuperate, and then you're playing a game. Boom, bam, on Thursday. It's incredibly advantageous to the home team because they get to go home, take Monday off, show up to work on Tuesday, practice, prep, same thing Wednesday, walk through Wednesday, and then here we are on the field there. And especially if you're going from East Coast to West Coast and West to East, or if you're playing in London or Mexico City or Canada or whatever it is that they have you, it wears you down, man. That wears you down significantly. So I am not surprised at all to hear that the home teams have such an advantage and such a better record than the away teams in these Thursday night games. I think you're right though. I think if you're going to play a Thursday night game, obviously the players and the coaches and the staff would love it to be off of a bye week. Okay, well, we got a bye week. We'll play Thursday. Then essentially you get 2 bye weeks in a row because you're not playing that Sunday. You get extra week and a half prep for your next game. Mm-hmm. So that would be ideal. I think the league could probably schedule that. I don't think Thursday night games are going anywhere, especially with these deals that you have now with Amazon and NFL Network, Fox, and everybody that gets a Thursday night game, you're able to stream it on Twitch. You can, watch it on Sling or whatever you want to watch it on.
Hulu has live sports now.
Hulu has live sports now. Like the NFL is making so much money off having a game on Thursday night, and the NFL is such a hot commodity that one team, doesn't matter who the two teams are that are really playing on Thursday night, but if you have a big market like New York, LA, or Miami or something like that playing on a Thursday night stage, they make so much money, dude. From even just from like the TV deals for that one game, for that one night. Like it's incredibly advantageous for them to have a Thursday night game and a Monday night game. So yeah, man, it's obviously I agree with you. I think it's very strenuous on all the players involved, especially the team that's traveling, and you don't really get to prep. You just kind of got to go to war and lick your wounds and go to war again. Like what'd you say that just happened, right? Titans are getting ready for a Thursday night game. You take Derrick Henry out of the third quarter to spell him so he has enough gas to even make it through the full game Thursday.
So mad about that. It's week 2. It's the season just started. I'm so sorry, but like it sets me off a little bit that our head coach thinks it's okay that we are up by 4 points going into the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to sit our halfback who's starting to average like 6 to 8 yards a carry. Like this dude is just just running over people and making plays. And we're like, hey, we're going to sit him and try to save him for Thursday Night Football. That's good. I understand. It was hot. I was at the game. It was like 110 was the heat index. It was crazy hot. I can't imagine how tired and stuff those guys were after that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think like you want to be the big dog. It's time to be the big dog. Like he had 80 rushing yards. I didn't think he had a crazy amount of carries already. It wasn't like he'd carried the ball 30 times yet, I don't believe.
Yeah.
And so
but still, it's like you're compromising a win now because you have to play in 4 days.
Exactly. And so like that's where the Thursday Night Football.
Even make that decision is flawed.
Yeah, there's definitely a problem there.
Now, going back into kind of what you're like our logic with these Thursday night, the new CBA is coming up, right? So there's going to be a new collective bargaining agreement that the players union and the NFL sign together with the owners, and they go about these are the rules set forth for the new league, the next like 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big discussions around that new CBA has been potential 18-game season or taking out preseason games. How do you think? I think this wraps in nicely with our Thursday night topic. How do you think that wraps in? How do you think that should unfold?
If you're going to do
in a perfect world, how would you have it?
If you're going to do 18 weeks, then you got to do 2 buys.
Yeah.
Because like I was listening to the Bussin' with the Boys podcast the other day, and like they were talking about that, and they were like, when you get to the end of the season, like it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last 4 games are just like you're fighting with yourself every day, and you're sore all the time, and you're hurting all the time.
Mm-hmm. Inflammation
and so I'm not a fan of extending the regular season. I'm okay with cutting some of the preseason out. That's fine, but like I'm a bigger fan of extending the playoff.
Yes.
Than extending the regular season. I think if you're going to cut the preseason, then if you cut 2 weeks out of the preseason, then you need to extend the playoffs by 2 weeks. That's hard.
That is very hard. In a perfect world, I'd love to have 2 preseason games or maybe even 3.
Honestly,
I really don't think you need 3, but
I'm okay. I'm okay with doing 2. You get 1 bye week throughout the year. You get a bye week before the playoffs, and you add a week to the playoffs. There you go. That's perfect world, Lucas.
Right, that is perfect world, Lucas. But I really would like to continue to be able to watch football after week 17 or whatever it is, and there not be a down week before the playoffs. But I think you add 2 teams to the playoffs, so you have a full 8-team bracket, right, on the NFC side and on the AFC side. So you increase the overall playoff teams by 4 teams. You have seed 1 play 8, right? 2 play 7, and so on and so forth. And I think you could really have storylines to where one out of every 10 years you have an 8 seed defeating the number 1 seed, who in the old CBA would have had a bye week, but this time they ran into a hot 8 seed and they showed up and upset the team. But I still think you give the high seeds 1 through 4, you give them home field throughout. As long as they're the higher seed.
Right.
Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, what about the bye week? You take out that team with the bye week." It's like, but this way you kind of make it fair all the way around.
But if you add a bye week at the beginning, no one can complain about that part.
Right. So I think 2 bye weeks. I think if you have 2 preseason games, 17-game regular season, right? With you add a second bye week, and then you extend the playoffs, so you still have the same amount of weeks, right? So all we did is we took 2 from the preseason, we sprinkled one of those weeks as a bye week and potentially an extra game into the regular season, and then we added a playoff game.
I don't think you can add another game, dude. I just think it's too much. I think it's too much on the players.
But it's like, where would you put? Obviously, the ideal thing for the players and everybody else is to have a bye week. Everybody gets a bye week. Playoff team, boom, you get a bye week. But
it's like I said, just extend the playoff, add a bye week in between the season and the playoffs.
Yeah, but then you have that. But what I'm saying is, football's at all-time high at that moment. Everybody's ready for the playoffs. Everybody's gearing up. Everybody's ready to go. And we got a week with no football. And that would be, as a fan, that would be the most boring yet highly anticipated week of my life, because I already hate Pro Bowl week enough, dude. I don't care about the Pro Bowl. I don't want to watch it. It's just a week before the Super Bowl, and all I care about is getting to the next week after that. So from a fan viewer perspective, having that week before the season is a little worrisome and cumbersome to me.
I don't think it's that big of a deal to me.
You don't think so?
I just don't. Like, if you're cutting out the preseason, you're cutting 2 games out of the preseason. That's 2 weeks of preseason football that we don't have to watch.
Yeah. So you're getting into the season sooner. You're getting into the season October 28th.
You're extending the playoff. So at the very least, you're adding 4 more teams in, and that means you're adding 4 more games in.
Yeah, but so that means I guess you do wild card Saturday and Sunday, AFC and NFC is what you would call. But you wouldn't even call it the wild card round. You just call it round.
I mean, you can do that, or since there's going to be so many more games, I mean, you can even do, you can have games on Thursday after the bye week.
Oh yeah.
And then we might get
the lower seeder teams have to play on a Thursday.
Yeah, we might get 3 days of football.
Right. 2 playoff games on a Thursday, 2 playoff games on a Saturday, 4 games on Sunday.
And to me, that'd be worth it.
That to me sounds ideal. If I get to watch football, if I basically have to give up half a week of watching, then that makes me excited and happy. And if that makes the players happier, because like, okay, cool, you went on this grind, you got to the playoffs. We have 8 teams now, it's even. You get a week for preparation to travel, and you're ready to go into the playoffs. But I can understand where some people would say, then what's the point of getting the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed if you don't get that bye? Because right now they have a perceived advantage in being able to get an extra week of rest. But some people say, "Oh, well, that week of rest can get you."
Yeah, some people don't think it's an advantage. I see it as the number 1 seed Patriots get to play the last seed Bills or something like that. Like,
yeah, you get to play
you get to play like a subpar team.
Yeah, I would love to extend the playoffs and make it 8 versus 8 because, dude, could you imagine the storyline if that trash team Bills goes into Foxborough and beats them? They come out flat. They think that they have this in the bag. These guys shouldn't have even made the playoffs several years ago, but here they are now. And you have those stories, and you know, you add more people to the playoffs, and all around it just makes it better.
Yep.
Any more football I can get, I want.
So, anywho,
Any who's will bees. What's next?
your favorite topic of the night?
Oh boy, oh boy. Once again, Lucas, I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay?
Worst
and I
question.
want you to be ready for it.
I hate this question.
How about them Cowboys, Lucas?
Good, man.
That was incredibly loud. But how about them Cowboys?
That looked real good. What you
My goodness.
got? This is your specialty.
This is my specialty. Okay, here's the thing. Dak is proving me wrong. He is coming into his own. Okay? He has shown me that he has gotten better. The play calling has gotten significantly better. We actually have motions and formations and intricacies and scheme fits and audibles. And we don't just do plain vanilla run north and south and maybe a little toss over here to Zeke and maybe a small play action to Witten. No. We got Randall Cobb coming in on an end around fake. We got some RPOs. Okay. We have multiple audibles at the line. Dak seems very comfortable, cool, collected, being a general and managing his troops and telling everybody where to go. And I am so excited to watch this Cowboys offense. We've scored 30-plus points 2 weeks in a row. I can't remember the last time that happened. It must have been the 95 season when we had Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith. I don't think we've done that in a while.
Well, you don't think Romo ever did that?
He might have. This is for effect, Lucas. For okay.
I was about to say, man, you can't just poop on my man Romo like that, though.
Man, I love Romo, dude. He was so underrated, and everybody hated him for whatever reason. But in our Cowboys' hearts, we all love Romo. Bless his heart, in the fumbling against the Seattle game. Dear God, that will stay with him forever. But I do remember several plays, and I remember the duel out with Peyton Manning. 5 touchdowns here, 5 touchdowns there. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Ooh, that was a great game. But dude, I am incredibly excited to watch these Cowboys play every single Sunday. And the thing is, we're 2-0 in the division, and Zeke hasn't even gotten started yet. I don't feel like Zeke has even hit his stride, that he is in game ready preparation yet. He looked kind of stiff and looked kind of like he wasn't all the way there yet. Like he was struggling. His motor wasn't running full. And he still got 100 yards and a touchdown behind the best offensive line in football when healthy. Right? Like, can you imagine when Zeke hits his full power high motor and goes Super Saiyan 2, okay, into that NFL rushing champion form? You add that on top of a Dak who right now is averaging like a 120 QBR, okay, 4 touchdowns a game and like 4 to 5 incompletions. He's playing lights out at the moment. I know that this high can only ride for so long. I know we're going to get punched in the mouth and hit eventually in the season. So bear with me as I enjoy this moment that we are now 2-0. Okay, because I know that the punishment is coming later. I know I'm going to be, but I am incredibly excited for the season. So many elite players on both sides of the ball. You got an elite wide receiver who changed the offense. You have a NFL rushing champion running back. You have an elite left tackle, an elite center, a Hall of Fame tight end whose leadership and mentorship cannot be understated. You have 2 elite linebackers who you can have Sean Lee on 3rd down off the field. I can't remember the last time I could say that about the Cowboys defense. Sean Lee, the backbone of the Cowboys defense, the lifeblood, the only silver lining at the end of the tunnel for this defense for 5 or 6 years. and we can afford to have him on the sideline on third down because Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith are some bad men. Some bad men. A elite pass rusher in DeMarcus Lawrence, and not to mention Byron Jones, a underrated shutdown corner in this league. Yes, we don't have safeties, but we don't need them at the moment. Everywhere I look, I see a superstar potential and talent. And I'm just soaking all this in because for years we have had nothing but anguish and heartache. And I swear, if my Cowboys do it to me again and build me up just to let me fall, I might cry.
Haven't you been good and made the playoffs like 3 years in a row?
Yes.
No.
2 out of the past 3 years, NFC champions. Okay. The only year where we didn't win that is when Zeke was gone for the first 6 weeks. I'm happy to be a Cowboys fan right now. In the power rankings, we're number 4. Actually, no. Check that. In the power rankings, we are number 3. I don't remember breaking the top 5 in recent memory. I'm feeling good right now, Lucas. I am so happy.
I hear you, man.
And I feel you, bro. The Giants, trash. Washington, slightly better quality of trash. Miami, don't even get me started, okay? They got people wanting to leave. They got people all the way up out. They're calling their agents because they don't want to play Zeke next week. Okay, so these first 3 weeks, I understand, are among the easiest of schedules, right, in the NFL. So I'm going to appreciate the highs as it is right now. And it gets a lot tougher later on in the year. But, man, what a start, man. What a start for my Cowboys. Take it away, I'm grinning.
I mean, I ain't much more I can say. I mean, I picked y'all to win the division. I do think everyone does need to check up on everything because it is week, like, we're just now about to start week 3. We've only been through 2 weeks of the NFL.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to chill with everything. The Cam Newton talk, but like, oh my God, he's rolling his eyes. He's rolling his eyes.
Hopefully he gets better and he gets back to Super Cam.
I don't want him to get back to Super Cam. Super Cam was aggravating.
Okay then.
What? I just don't think he. Look, anyways, we already talked about that. But you have a chance to do something special this year, and I hope you do. And I hope the Titans stand a chance of even achieving a fraction of that.
Lucas, he said that with such pain and anguish. It took him for that breath to finally be released from his lungs. It took a lot of extra effort. Oh, I'm sorry. Dude, I want the Titans to make it all the way, okay? Because I think you're right. They got to chill out, okay?
But the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, let's go. Woo! But no, but for real, we got to chill out, okay? We got a lot of football left to be played, a lot of factors. Michael Gallup just got hurt. He's out for at least the next 4 weeks. That's a big issue.
I'm not playing the Dolphins.
No. You're right about that. Okay. But, oh my gosh. If we lose to the Dolphins,
Man, that'll be worse than the depression I'm about to go through. Oh, if y'all lose to the Dolphins, I kind of want it to happen now.
Don't you sit there with your conniving fingers, like it's like that one Simpson guy. Dear God, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. Take a deep breath. A lot of football left to be played, but so far, so good. A lot of things to be happy about.
So we'll move on now. It's time to talk about how the Titans completely beat themselves.
This is your This is yours, my friend.
All right. All right, we're playing Jacoby Brissett and the Colts. The Colts are good. All right. They got a good offensive line that's been playing better than I thought they would. Although It's easy to say your offensive line's playing better than you thought they would when we would have passed our sack total from last week, which was like 6 or 7 sacks, if we actually could tackle. But we can't tackle. All right.
Number one.
Excuse me. Before I go through my list of sad things that are wrong with the Tennessee Titans, just remember that it is week 2. I've been trying to I've been trying to tell myself that since the game finished. And it's been real hard. I'm losing sleep out here. All right. I ain't sleeping good at night. All right. I'm dreaming about the Titans being bad. All right. Last night I woke up in a sweat, shaking. Okay. Because Jarrell Casey, that's all I could see in my head while I was sleeping was Jarrell Casey running into Jacoby Brissett and just falling off of him. Like it was 100. Like I said, the heat index was 110. All right. And I know there's just sweat all over the place. But this man ain't sweating butter. Okay?
Crisco.
All right? So I did. I made a list, and I'm going to go through the list. Remember, it's week 2. But I have seen nothing but Mariota hate all week.
Ooh, yeah, it's been bad.
I'm here to tell you that Mariota is not the reason we lost. You cannot look at a game where you beat yourselves against the Colts with Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback, who, by the way, scored 3 touchdowns in a game, which is his career high, on like 150 passing yards. Okay? All right? That's not exactly awesome.
Nothing not.
But, like, he was mediocre. He wasn't good. And he held the ball too long on a play that he should have threw away that pushed us back like 10 yards, and it turned a 30-yard field goal into a 40-yard field goal. We missed the 40-yard field goal. We still should have made the field goal. That's another problem. We missed a field goal. Okay?
Yeah, 40 yards.
But we still should have made the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a chance at the end of the game. I don't care what everyone's like, well, Corey Davis was wide open on the right slant. Mariota's first read was on the left. It was pretty obvious it was at Humphreys. All right? Mm-hmm. Humphreys has 2 people on him. You can't throw it to him. There's 14 seconds left on the clock, and we got to have time to line back up and spike it so we can kick a field goal.
Yeah.
He ain't making it to his 3rd or 4th read.
Yeah. No,
he ain't making it to this side of the field. So what does he do? A.J. Brown is, in my eyes, open. He's got a guy on his ass. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
But it hit him in the hands and he dropped the ball. You've seen the play, Jackson. Real quick, I want to know what you think about the play. If you disagree with me.
I mean, like you said, yeah, it hit him right in the hands, right here over the top. I don't know if you guys watch it on YouTube. Hit the top of the hand, fell off. I think it wasn't a super easy catch, right? Like by any means, but it was a catchable ball, right? If you're an NFL wide receiver, you should.
Well, that all you can ask for as a wide receiver in the NFL, honestly, is a catchable ball because the defenses are crazy good.
Yeah.
So talking about the wide receivers, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't exactly getting open downfield. And the reason I want to bring that up is because the Tennessee Titans, after 2 weeks of NFL play, are 3 for 20 on 3rd downs. 14 of those 20 attempts were 3rd and long.
Can't put yourself in those situations, man.
Okay, this is like 3rd and 10 or longer. All right? That is a problem.
Yes, a major problem.
And so, on those plays, your wide receivers aren't getting open deep enough, and you just can't get the first down. And that stems from us not doing enough on 1st and 2nd down. Partly to blame because Derrick Henry's getting hit in the backfield on 1st and 2nd down. Yeah. Because we are using our, 3rd string right guard and our 2nd string left tackle right now. So there's some problems going on with the offensive line.
Yeah, when does the boy make his return?
Week 5. He's got a 4-game suspension. Okay. But he can go back week 4. It's like week 4 he can go to the game, I think.
Okay, you can go to the game and the training facility.
Yeah, right now he's not allowed to even be like he can't talk to the team or nothing.
Week 4 he can go
Yeah,
back
like
and work out.
I think so. I think that's right.
Okay.
So he can get ready, like
Mhm.
get back in the game shape. I think that's right. I'm not 100%. Don't call me on that. Whatever. So yeah, tackling was atrocious. Like I said, we missed. So our defense played really well. We got a fumble recovery and we got an interception. Our offense needs to be able to capitalize over that, but they couldn't. They only got 3 points from that. But the first drive of the game, the Colts went down, scored a touchdown, and that is because Adoree Jackson did a pass interference on the 4-yard line that was like a 60-yard penalty or a 50-yard penalty. You don't let that happen, okay?
Yeah, you can't.
You can't have that happen. You can't have the Colts' second scoring drive. We missed like 2 sacks on third down. And then on their third scoring drive, because they scored 3 touchdowns, we let them run right up the middle with their backup halfback untouched for like a 50 or 60-yard run. And then they just next play just threw it over the top to T.Y. Hilton. Like, you can't let that stuff happen. When you're in that situation, like you let them run all the way down there, like you've got to be thinking, okay, we have to hold them to a field goal because we're up by 4.
Yeah.
Right? You need to hold them. And we couldn't even do that. So we let Jacoby Brissett go down. And he was 3 for 3 in the end zone against the Tennessee Titans, who should be one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Especially with that secondary.
Top 5 or 10, honestly. Mm-hmm. And we could not sack at all. And it was, we literally missed like 5 sacks, Jackson. It was
gotta be so frustrating to watch. Like
I'm watching Jayon Brown standing up with this man, like trying to get the ball, not trying to tackle him, but he's like trying to get the ball. I watched Jarrell Casey. This dude's like 300 pounds run into the man. I love Jarrell Casey. I love every player on the Titans. They are all amazing. And I want them all to just dominate every single game. I have so much love for this team, and it just hurts so much when I see them just sliding off this quarterback that doesn't even look like he's trying to do anything at the time. He doesn't know he's getting hit yet. He's standing in the pocket like this, and then some guy just slides off of him, and he's like, oh, better run away for 20 yards down the field or something, or throw it up the field to a wide open guy. And it is just
key plays.
Yeah, we had like 6 or 8 penalties for like 100 yards almost. That was ridiculous. Like, you can't have that. And I think the coaching was bad.
Yeah. Was it like clock management? Was it like play calling?
So in the first half, there was a passing interference call on third down.
Mm-hmm.
That might have, I think it was their second touchdown drive. I think we had a passing interference call on third down, and we missed 2 sacks on third and long.
Ooh. That's 3 more possessions. Yeah.
That was all literally in one drive. Like,
to barely lose.
And so, like, I wish Vrabel would have challenged that. It's the first half, and you're like saving this timeout, and you didn't even use them. Like we didn't even use any timeouts. And I understand you're like, oh, we might need those at the end of the half or whatever. The announcers, I hate the commentators every time I watch a game on CBS.
Have you got Romo yet?
We got them week 1.
We got Romo week 1. I love.
Yeah, against the Browns. Yeah, I didn't like the guy with him, but pretty sure we got Romo. But this past week it was terrible. We got like the worst crew they got, like they know the Titans players because they get us so many times because we always get the bad CBS crew, and I hate listening to them. And even this dude is up there and he's like, "You have got to challenge that." Like, we're watching the slow replay on TV. I know they're watching it. And apparently the guy in Vrabel's headset, Vrabel had the flag in his hand like he was ready.
Yeah.
And the guy in his headset told him not to do it. And he said that they will hardly ever are they going to overturn those. Apparently they're being super, 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 super crazy strict.
Yeah, it has to be like clear and distinct. Like I think is a I don't know if the distinct
The
is
word
clear
the
and
word that Vrabel used was like outrageous or something.
yeah, it's got to be like clear, completely visible, egregious. Yeah,
Egregious is actually the exact word that he used. I
egregious.
think I thought it was. Me personally, I thought it was. I thought he should have challenged it. You're losing one timeout in the first half. It is not a big deal to me.
Yeah,
Um, and that that led to them scoring a touchdown later in the drive. And so I think that should have been a thing. Towards the end of the game, we took Derrick Henry out for the whole fourth quarter. This is the guy that was doing everything for us.
again because you have to worry about that
If
Thursday
you
night.
if
But
you
at the
go
same
and you
time,
watch,
you gotta get the win where you're at.
I think he was mad. I think Derrick Henry was mad at the end of the game. I watched his post game interview. I think he was a little upset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think everyone was mad about it, but I think he was mad about like he got benched to save him for the week, and then they lost, and he could have helped us. Because then
Yeah,
Dion Lewis ran the ball, and for the fourth quarter, he got like 6 carries for 3 yards or something. Like it was something just non-existent.
yeah, yeah. Just didn't. And every team's gonna have one of those. We're gonna be week. I don't know, whatever. Hopefully not next week, but later on down week whatever in the podcast, we're gonna talk about the Cowboys just didn't look like themselves. Heavy penalties, missing obvious tackles, and teams have bad weeks, especially. And it's really frustrating coming off a huge win against Cleveland, dominating them in their own house, and playing Indy and not looking like the team that was just there a week before. So
Yeah, but
I understand, but it's a long season. We got 14 games left.
exactly. It was only week 2. I'm not worried about the Titans team really. I'm worried about all the hate that Mariota's receiving. He did have a bad game.
Unnecessary. Yeah.
Like
Mariota should be benched.
but I don't think the play calling was that great either. I wasn't impressed with the offensive
Yeah.
play calling either. But week 2, moving on.
Yep.
We're going to look at how the standings are. All right, we're going to look at all the 2-0 and all the 0-2 teams, Jack.
Yeah.
So we're going to take all the teams that are 2-0, and we're going to pick which 2-0 team is most likely to miss the playoffs, and then we're going to pick which 0-2 team is most likely to actually make the playoffs. And I will let you go first with both of your decisions, Mr. Jackson.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go a quick rundown of the 2-0 teams. We have New England. We have Buffalo because they played New York both times. Come on. We have Baltimore. Then we have Kansas City, Dallas, Green Bay, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. So for me, my 2-0 team that I think is the most likely to miss. This is a definitely difficult decision. I'm going to go with Baltimore.
You're delusional.
And I know Lucas is just looking at me right now, just saying, how could you pick Baltimore?
You're so delusional.
Here's the reason why.
I want you to name off their division before you say anything else.
I mean, that is true.
No. Just say it. Say it so I can hear it right
They got
here.
Baltimore, they got Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to. That's it.
Here's the thing, okay? Baltimore, I don't buy into Lamar Jackson yet. Right? Yes, he's played very well the first 2 weeks. And I think that he can continue to play well through the rest of the year. His division obviously is the problem. And now that I think about it more clearly, I don't know, man. I just don't know.
No, you already picked the Ravens, bro. It's too late to save you.
I don't know how they're gonna do, man. I just don't. I don't. Basically, my reason is I don't buy into Lamar Jackson yet.
All right, my counter to that: the Ravens are going to make the playoffs. They made it with Lamar Jackson last year. The Steelers are garbage now, and Cincinnati looks better, but they're still not as good as Baltimore. I think Baltimore's defense is better than you give them credit for, and I think the Browns still had like 10 penalties last night. So
Division's in the bag.
I think so. They're up 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
All right, like if you look at it right now, they got 2 wins, and then they're going to beat Cincinnati both times, and they're going to beat the Steelers both times, which gives them 4 more games. That's 6 wins right there that I think are guaranteed. Well, 2 of them are guaranteed because they've already won those. But there's 4 more guaranteed wins in my head. 6, and I think you win that division with 10, honestly, if you want to.
Yeah.
11 definitely gets it for you, right? So, I mean,
I would think so. I would think 11 wins that division, wraps up nice little bow.
So, anyways,
who is your 2-0 team?
To miss the playoffs, the Bills.
I
thought it was the most obvious pick out of the whole schmandingle. Like,
be different. Wanted to be different, man.
Well, I picked a 0-2 team that I didn't think you'd pick, but this is what I actually think is going to happen. But you know, so what 0-2 team you want to state those off and then tell me your pick?
Obviously we got Miami, which nothing's happening there. We got the Jets; they're injury laden. We have Pittsburgh. We have Cincinnati. We have Jacksonville, Denver, the Giants, the Redskins, the Panthers, and that's it. That's as far as 0-2 teams. Arizona's 0-1-1. They're not doing anything. For my 0-2 team that could potentially make it. Oh my gosh, all of these teams are kind of suspect. I think I know what you're going to say. I think you're going to say Carolina.
No.
No.
I know you think that now. I just love Cam Newton. I don't like the guy, but he's still like they're not going to get rid of him just because it's so hard to get a good quarterback in the NFL.
I'm just going to throw it out there because why not? We'll see what happens. Outlandish takes out here that may or may not happen. What about Pittsburgh? They traded for a really good safety. They upped their secondary. It's still a completely long shot. You go 0-2, your chances of making the playoffs are approximately 12%. So it's unlikely to happen, but in that division, anything can happen. Like we said, Cincinnati's not doing anything. Cleveland's very suspect. Baltimore, I don't yet believe in. So I'm going to double down on my pick, and I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. I think if they can figure out their quarterback play and their defense is good enough that they could make a run.
No, definitely. Like, I feel that 100% makes sense. Pittsburgh's always going to be a good team no matter what. So I picked the Redskins.
It's a good pick.
The Eagles just keep running into injury issues, man. And honestly, I think Wentz is going to get hurt again. He's getting hit a lot. Their wide receiver core is wiped out right now. I don't know the complete update on how long all of them are going to be out and what's going on with that. But, Washington looked good against y'all, and they looked good the week before that, too. Yeah, against the Eagles. And then, to me, the Cowboys and Eagles are both top 5, top 10 teams.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Washington barely lost to them. Well, the Cowboy game was more. What was the
reason why I didn't? What was I think it was 35-17. That might have been the final.
Yeah.
35-24, something like that.
They started off good against y'all, and then y'all just took over.
They really did. Washington's no joke. The only reason I didn't pick an NFC team is because I think the NFC is so loaded, at least compared to the AFC. The AFC right now is missing a lot of quarterbacks, and more of their divisions are kind of wide open. I think you have a very competitive NFC West. I think you have a very competitive I think it's going to be a competitive NFC East between Dallas and Philly. I think the NFC North is super competitive right now. I just don't see a lot of wiggle room there. AFC South is wide open. AFC West is, it's going to be Kansas City. AFC North is where I see the most potential for flip-flopping. So that's kind of where I went with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Baltimore, I get, was a little more outlandish pick. If I was going to be more sensible, I'd probably say San Francisco. Especially in a highly competitive NFC West, it's highly doubtful that all three of those 2-0 teams make it. So if I was going to go mathematically correct, I would pick that team. But we're here for hot takes, baby.
Yeah, I think Washington. I do. I want to go through Washington's schedule real quick. All right, because
Okay.
I want us to look and see if this is a possibility.
Okay.
So they play the Bears next. All right, so they're 0-2. They play the Bears next. I think that's a win.
Really?
The Bears have no offense, dude. They have looked terrible.
Oh man, that's interesting. I think
The
their defense is going to be all over Washington. I don't know if Washington's going to be able to do anything. Do you think Mr. Trubisky can put together a drive or two?
I think
Oh.
I think the Redskins scored 27 points on the Eagles and 21 points on the Cowboys, and I think that means they can put up 10 points against the Bears, which is enough to win.
Ooh. 10 points enough to beat Chicago. You're not wrong.
I mean,
I'm going to disagree. I think Mr. Trubisky gets more than 10 points.
all right, well, you know what? Just for the sake of this, all right, we'll give them a loss there, all right? All right,
Okay.
They play the Giants next. That's a win. Patriots, that's a loss. The Dolphins, that's a win. All right, so there's 2 wins. Then they play the 49ers. I don't know about that.
That's going to be a good game.
I think they lose, although it is a home game. Then they play the Vikings. I think they beat the Vikings just because right now the Vikings do not look at all how I thought they would look. Like, they are not throwing the ball at all. Like, they're dropping back 15 times a game. They're committing to the run. That's fine. Dalvin Cook had an awesome week last week, and they still lost. Something has to change. Then they play the Bills. I think that's a win. They play the Jets. That's a win. They play the Lions. That's a win. They play the Panthers. That's a win. They play Green Bay. I'm assuming they lose. Then they play the Eagles. I think they win that. That one is the home game. They split with the Eagles. They almost beat them the first time. That's 8 games. They play the Giants. They win that. That's 9. They got 9 wins. And then there were some questionable ones in there. The San Francisco one, the Bears one.
Could go either way.
Yeah. Those are both questionable. The Patriots play the Redskins at home, and we all know that the Patriots every once in a while have a game that slips. The Packers, I think,
is a reach even for you, Mr. Lucas.
The Dolphins beat the Patriots last year.
On a Hail Mary random play. Yes, they did.
You know, every team that beat the Patriots last year wasn't a playoff team.
That is very true.
They only lost to bad teams, okay? So
you got a point there, but I mean, here's the thing right now. Their point differential currently through 2 weeks is plus 73 points.
Who have they played the past 2 weeks?
Miami, and who did they just play? They just played Miami, but they gave a week before. Pittsburgh.
Right. So, the Miami thing, the Pittsburgh game was a surprise. The Miami thing, I think Miami's just bad.
Oh, for sure.
But
43-0.
But it kind of looks like if the Redskins can, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Patriots. I was just trying to pick out some games that they might pull out of nowhere. The San Francisco game, the Patriots game, maybe just because the Patriots have that slip up early in the year. Always, it's going to happen.
Let's say, for sake of argument, okay, that they go 10-6, right? For sake of argument, they go 10-6. That means over the next 14 weeks they go 10-4, right? Because they're starting off 0-2. That's a given. It's a math.
They got a real easy middle part of this schedule in here. Like, after they play the Patriots, it's like...
My question is, in this competitive NFC, does 10 wins get you a wild card spot?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, let me just go back to my predictions from 2 or 3 podcast episodes ago. So,
10
I mean,
wins might, 9-7 doesn't. 9-7.
I had the Bears. I had the Bears making it in at 10-6.
So in this case, the Redskins will replace Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Eagles going 10-6 and not making the playoffs though.
It's not surprising that if Chicago continues like this, at least in terms of their offensive output.
Oh, they're not. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs if their offensive output keeps up.
Yeah, it's what helped them last year is they had a run, and especially when you get to December and January, you can rely on a good running game and defense. But if you can't score, there's only so much your defense can do, especially when it's that cold in
Yeah.
Chicago. So
So,
it's looking rough. Some stuff has to change.
anyways, Mr. Jackson, it is time to wrap up our show with our recap and then our pick'ems and then any
Let's
final
do it.
thoughts. So, just gotta warm up the old pen here. Okay. All right. So to recap the games from last week, we didn't do any college games. There wasn't any good ones. This week we got some good ones.
Yeah.
But from last week, the Bucks played the Panthers. Me and Jackson both picked the Panthers, so we didn't get that. We had the Titans and the Colts. The Colts won. I was actually right on that one, so I got one for that. The Eagles and the Falcons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We both picked the Eagles, so we didn't get anything for that. And then the Browns and the Jets played last night. And Mr. Jackson, who won that?
The Cleveland Browns, I believe, do won that, sir.
And
we both
picked that. All right.
And the Cowboys Redskins games, we both picked Dallas.
Did I skip over the Cowboy game?
You sure did.
I am so sorry. The Cowboys and Redskins, we both picked the Cowboys. So
you got one more point than me this week. What, did you get 4? I get 3, or 3 and I got 2.
Yeah, 3 and 2.
Okay.
So you're still, you're still up on me.
What am I? 9 and 5.
I'm 7 and 7, and you're 8 and 6.
I'm 8 and 6. I thought I was at 6 wins. Oh yeah, I did get 2 this week.
Yeah.
I did get 3.
Yeah. Okay. And we did 5 games. So
makes sense.
Close. It's close. I'm 7 and 7. You're 8 and 6. So we have our weekly picks. Mr. Jackson, are you ready? We're going to start off with college first.
Picks, man. Let's go.
All right. All right. First big game in college football. We got number 11 Michigan at number 13 Wisconsin. What you got, Miss Jackson?
Ooh, man, I've been hearing a lot of upset potential. Wisconsin to take them down. However, I'm going to go Michigan in this game. I believe in Jim Harbaugh. I believe in what Michigan's able to do on offense. I'm just gonna buy into their system here. I know Wisconsin is an incredibly tough team, especially on the road. However, I'm gonna pick Michigan.
I'm going with Wisconsin. I think Michigan should have lost to Army the other day, and just seeing Michigan going to overtime with Army just hurts my soul. It makes
down your spine, yeah.
So I'm going with Wisconsin there. So hopefully I can get a point there. Then I got number 7 Notre Dame at number 3 Georgia.
Here we go. It seems to be to me that Notre Dame's weakness right now seems to be the rush defense. Georgia has a top 3 rushing attack in the NCAA at the moment. So for that reason, being able to control the clock and being able to control the pace, I'm going to pick Georgia.
I'm also going to pick Georgia. All right. I hate it when Notre Dame's always ranked up this high and everything. Okay, they don't play no one, and I don't think they should ever be in the top 10.
That is an outlandish take.
Is it an outlandish take? You think it's an outlandish take?
I think Notre Dame belongs up there.
I can name off
top 10 conversation.
I can name off like 5 SEC teams that are better than Notre Dame.
Can you now?
Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Did you just shake your head at Florida?
I sure did.
You are delusional.
Notre Dame would take Florida. He's typing away at his keyboard, looking for evidence right now. He's so disgusted with me. I'm defending Notre Dame.
I was gonna look up some Florida stuff. It doesn't matter. All right, I ain't got time for this nonsense. I think Florida is better. LSU, okay. Texas A&M, 5 teams. Boom. I think Texas is better than them. There's 6 teams. Okay. Clemson, 7. All right. Ohio State, 8. Oklahoma, 9. All right, there's 9 teams that are better than them. Can I get one more team that is better than Notre Dame?
You can't.
Michigan.
Can't. Michigan's better than Notre Dame right now?
I think Michigan and Wisconsin are both better than Notre Dame.
Man, you were just making all these outlandish comments.
How is this outlandish?
I'm going to defend Notre Dame. Okay, they looked great on both sides of the football instead of their rush defense, right? So because of that,
Oregon's better than Notre Dame.
Defense, I think they're going to be fine. This man loves Oregon only because of his uniforms. I swear.
What do you mean love Oregon? You picked them to win, and I picked them to lose against Auburn. Another SEC team that is better. That's 6. All right. I don't know what you want from me, Jackson.
Top 10. I will not hear anything against it. I wish I knew more about Notre Dame so I could defend them properly. However,
why don't you pick them to win then?
I don't, because Georgia's a better team.
You are so just.
Georgia's number 3 for a reason.
You make me sick.
I know it, and I
enjoy
and relish every second of it.
You just make me sick, Jackson.
What's our NFL games this week? Are we doing 7 this week?
I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I'm just upset. I'm just upset. Like I don't. Florida's ranked 9.
Okay.
So Notre Dame's 7. So like it's easy to say. The only reason Florida's ranked 9 is because they don't want to be given the SEC the top they don't want to give them 6 of the top 7 spots. Although Oklahoma's really looking real good.
High, then they should be ranked that high. It doesn't matter what they want to give the SEC. Give the best teams a higher rankings.
All right. Anyways, they knock each other out every year. Okay, we're on from college football. Jackson's delusional. He's gonna talk all this about Notre Dame and then not back him up. Thursday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans redeemed themselves against Jacksonville. Okay, it ain't nothing. All right.
You got a disgruntled locker room if you don't go to Jacksonville and beat them on a Thursday night. I don't know what else to tell you.
Home teams have a supreme advantage, but that is okay.
Oh, you're home this time. Okay, I thought you had.
Oh no. Let me finish. That is okay because the Titans are still going to go on the road and win on Thursday Night Football. Nothing but faith.
The math is not in your favor, my friend, but I am hopeful.
The math is in my favor. Derrick Henry hit 99-yard run on him last year. Okay.
Teams have a supreme
No. I'm looking past. There's other math. There's other math in this matchup. Okay. Do you know why the record for the Thursday night teams is as close as it is? Because there's one year since 2010 that the home team had a losing record to away teams, and that's because it was teams. Listen. That's because it was teams like New England traveling to Cincinnati and Pittsburgh traveling to New York. Okay? These are garbage teams against tier 1 teams, and they're getting blown out of the water. Okay? All right? But let me talk about the math that really matters.
Okay, talk about the math that really matters, right. Sir Lucas.
Jacksonville is backup quarterback. Their team is distraught. Okay?
That's true.
Jalen Ramsey wants out.
Yeah.
And the Titans owned them. All right? Do you know what happened after the Titans won last year? The Titans beat the Jags one game last year, and there were men in that locker room wearing Jaguar suits and jackets. Okay? All right? We skinned them out back, made some nice fur coats, and then we walked out of the stadium with their soft fur on. Because we owned them.
Look, I agree with you. I think Tennessee is going to go into this. He's going to win that game because of the reasons that you said. You got a disgruntled locker room. Jalen Ramsey clearly does not want to be there. You got a backup quarterback. I think it's a different story with Nick Foles, at least a more closer game. I see Tennessee being able to be that, to go against the statistics and go into Jacksonville and take their.
Look, they have a cage in the middle.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll be in a better mood this week because Tennessee will destroy a team.
I'll be in a great mood come Thursday night. I can't wait. I love Thursday night football. I love when the Titans get to play in prime time because it never happens. Anyways, we have America's greatest matchups for the weekend, Miss Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Dolphins at the Cowboys. I already know. We already know what's gonna happen. Who's gonna
Come
win
on.
this?
I'm taking my Dallas. Of
Yeah,
course.
taking
I
Dallas.
pick my home team, unlike my compadre over here.
I think we got to make it interesting. How many points are the Cowboys gonna win by?
21.
I think they win by 30. Anyways,
By 30. Okay.
okay.
All
I'm
right.
actually
Hey,
I'm gonna
that's
write
more
that on
fancy
here.
points. That's more fancy points for me.
I'm
So
gonna
you're
write
taking
that.
over 21.
Yeah, and what are you taking?
I guess I'll take under 21.
Okay.
I really hope it's over. I hope I lose that bet.
All right. Chiefs versus the Ravens. Does Lamar prove himself?
Chiefs versus the Ravens. Does Lamar prove himself? No. This is where he gets punched in the mouth by the superior coaching of Andy Reid's play calling. They can't keep up with Kansas City's offense. Patrick Mahomes is going to go in there and show him who the real top quarterback in this league is.
Yep, I agree. Sunday night, Browns versus the Rams.
Ooh, I'm going to take the Rams. Is the Rams, is that a home game? Or is that the Browns?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Home game for the Rams. So I'm also picking the
yeah,
Rams.
I'm definitely taking LA.
Monday night, Bears at Redskins.
That's a good game, and I think this is the game that we were talking about earlier. So I think I'm going to take the Bears.
All right, I got the Redskins. So we disagreed on like 2 games.
Yeah, and you're behind by 1 point. So as fate would have it, I'm going to be down by 1 point next week.
Yep. So
as usual and as per usual.
Wrap it up for us, please, Mr. Jackson.
Right. Everybody that you've made it this far into the podcast, thank you so much for listening. It really does mean a whole heck of a lot over here. We sure do appreciate it. Be sure to follow us, subscribe. You can find us anywhere that podcast can be listened to and or heard. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. Also, we have been very active on YouTube lately. My friend Lucas here has taken the reins on that side. Also, be sure to follow us at Go for Two Podcast. We have the Twitter up and running to enter fan questions, queries, comments, concerns. Let us know how you're feeling. We will be tweeting stuff that's happening throughout the league throughout the week. And be sure to give us a listen, subscribe. Also, if you leave a 5-star review, we will read that 5-star review here live on the show. I think that's everything, Lucas. What, you got anything else for us?
I'm good.
Run it up. That's a wrap.
Deuces.
Peace, guys.